Hi ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. I wanted to show you this. These are like the coolest looking cookies, and so we just got those. I wish I could share them with you guys, but yeah, I think they have like white chocolate on top, and they're like completely pink. Anyways, they're completely natural, and they make them here, where I live. But they have real raspberries, so it's actually not like any colorants that they've added that make them pink, right? It's like real raspberries, which is really, really nice. I haven't tried them yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Probably not today, maybe tomorrow, I don't know. Because I just had a whole bunch of chocolate. Anyways, I don't wanna eat too many sweets, but yeah, this is very cool. They make like a lot of fresh stuff where I live here. They make like bread, freshly baked bread with, no additives, and everything is just completely natural and really nice. So I do appreciate this aspect of like living where we're at, so, and it's the fresh food, and quality food. So yeah, food is everything, you guys, and I make a lot of, a lot of videos on food, right? And the reason being is because it's so important for your physical health, your mental health, and your every aspect of your being, right? You are what you eat. If you're not eating correctly, you're always going to get sick. You're always going to feel bad. Your energy levels are going to be uneven, right? And so you guys, if you want to learn more about nutrition, about fitness, about how to get in shape, check out my course, please, okay? My video courses are amazing, and I put my sweat and tears into it. So, I think you will really appreciate the information that I've given you in my video courses. So go ahead and go check that out, okay? Anyway, so guys, what are we going to discuss today, okay? Today, we're going to discuss how chosen ones, they operate in two different worlds, okay? And so they're actually, because of that, they are like the portals, okay? Chosen ones are the portals to the spiritual world, okay? And because they have been able to access another dimension, or the information from another dimension, right, from source, they're like the portals, okay? So they're the portals to another world, okay? And so because they're able to kind of stay in touch with another side, right, or another dimension that is the unseen, they are able to take this information, kind of download it, or get downloads of this information and ground it, and make it make sense, right, by, for example, creating videos, right, or writing blogs, or I don't know, discussing this information, right? And so we're like the portals, basically, right? And so yeah, and of course, not everyone has this ability, right? And especially for those that didn't have the spiritual awakening yet, right? And so, and of course, I'm pretty sure that at this time there's still some chosen ones that they don't even know that they're chosen, right? And there's still some people that haven't awakened spiritually, and so they're very much asleep, and they're still very much operating in their ego, right? And so but I would say that even in your ego, when because you're a chosen one, you've always had this connection to source, and you've even when you were lost, you still had this really strong moral compass inside of you that was your guide, okay? And sometimes you fought very, very hard against it and you didn't want to listen, right? And you were doing everything in your power to go against it, but eventually, sooner or later, you learn that it is better to listen than go against what you were feeling and what you were guided to do, right? But chosen ones, they have to, especially after spiritual awakening, you know, you guys might find like a lot of videos online, right, that people who do undergo spiritual awakening, they cannot hold a regular job, right? And the reason being is because this entire new world, right, the spiritual world, whoa, this spiritual world has opened up to them, right? And so for maybe momentarily, right, they become kind of ungrounded, okay? And so this ungroundedness makes it very hard for them to operate strictly here in the 3D world, okay? And even the information that they started having the access to becomes almost unbearable, right? That's why it has to come in bits and pieces, okay? Because guys, as I talked to you about this before, right? And there's this like, you know, what is considered a mental disorder, right? Like schizophrenia, for example. I knew someone who was schizophrenic, okay, guys? And what she said, right? The things that she told me, the things that she said, they very much make sense now, okay? And because a lot of that information is spiritual information, it is the downloads from source, okay? And so I believe their crown chakra, right, is it's overactive, right? And so they get huge downloads of information and too much comes in, okay? So it becomes like this nonsensical mumbo jumbo that they cannot cope with, okay, basically, okay? And so it becomes too much, right? And so they cannot take this information, ground it, right, and make sense, kind of, you know, and put it into something that perhaps others on the 3D can sort of understand, right? And so there's that, right? And so they just kind of they start spitting out a whole bunch of, you know, nonsense, especially if you're speaking to someone who is very much just strictly grounded in reality, in the 3D, right? Someone that's not very spiritual. If someone who is not in any way elevated consciously, then they're going to absolutely think you're completely insane, completely crazy, right? And to them, because to them, they're operating at a different conscious level, right? And so that's why, for example, right, like people that awaken spiritually, right, when they awaken, they lose a lot of past relationships, right? It's because you're now in another timeline. Your consciousness has expanded, right? You can see more, you can understand more, you have access to more information that others don't, right? And so it's like talking to it's like, I don't know, it's in a sense it's like talking to a child, right? It's like talking to a child and trying to understand, explain to them physics, you know, or chemistry, right? Or I don't know, like yes, something like this, right? Like they cannot possibly understand this or really relate to it, right? Because they've never experienced anything like this before, right? And so you have to, that's why, you know, a lot of people who have consciously awakened, they lose so many people, right? Because most other people are not on their level anymore, right? It's like a spiritual level up, right? You're leveling up, you're ascending, right? When you ascend, and of course you will as you spiritually awaken, right? Then most other people who haven't ascended, they cannot come with you, right? So they're going to end up being kind of they're going to stay behind basically, right? And they're not going to be able to relate to you or understand you. They're going to think you're crazy because like I said, they don't have the access to this information. They cannot see the patterns that you see. Okay, and so yeah, there's that, right? But chosen ones, they're very much, for the most part, right? Maybe not initially during their spiritual awakening, okay? But a little bit later on, right? They're very much grounded in reality too, okay? And so they're able to operate kind of in two different worlds simultaneously, okay? They can go back from one to another, right? So they can kind of like speak two different languages or no, is that the right way of saying it? Speak two different languages. Yeah, I guess it is, right? It is. You can say speak two different languages depending on who they're speaking to, right? And they are also aware when they can discuss something with someone and when they cannot, based on feeling another person out and their energy, right? Because it is very much felt when you're operating at a higher frequency, you can very much feel when another person is not, okay? So, and that's how you also know when you cannot discuss certain things with that person, because once again, they will deem you crazy, they will not understand, okay? So it's like speaking another language with them, right? So there's that, right? But chosen ones are very much in tune, in touch with themselves, with the two worlds. Like I said, they can operate, they have mastered, right? And also, once again, if you're seeing a spiritual master number 33, right, that means you've mastered the physical and the spiritual, okay? And you can now teach, okay? You can teach. You're like, you became like a master, okay? 33 is the master number, right? I don't know if you guys know Ralph Smart, right? I've learned a lot from him in the past, you know, a long time ago. I learned a lot of information from him, you know, so, but nowadays, I think his content, his teachings, just the way that he makes his videos are just a little bit too much for me. I don't really, I feel like that maybe he sold out, you know, and he got a little bit too much in his ego, I think, once again. Maybe he just, I don't know, he took the fame, right, because his channel blew up, right, and so he took the fame, the money to his head, maybe it got to him, you know, maybe he wasn't ready for it, I don't know. But anyways, but yeah, back in the day, right, like a long time ago, I learned a lot from Ralph Smart, right, and he has, if you go back to his previous content, right, like a long time ago, a couple of years back, then I think you can also learn a lot from him too. And one thing that he did discuss was a master number 33, right? He said also, I think his birthday is on the 33 or it adds to 33, I don't know, right? But anyways, if you keep on seeing numbers 33, if it constantly pumps up everywhere, right? Maybe on the computer, maybe on your phone, maybe maybe you look somewhere and there's like a restaurant sign 33, right? We have this here. I see it all the time, right? But anyways, this is your sign that you have mastered both worlds, right? And you can start teaching. You can start teaching others. It's like I said, it's a spiritual number, master. It's a master number, right? And so if you think that, you know, you're not ready in some way, right? And that you don't have enough knowledge, sometimes we just have to take that leap of faith, you know, and believe in ourselves. You know, teaching is really about believing, you know, and also just because you are a teacher doesn't mean that you know everything, you know. Teachers don't know everything, you know, and once again, we also, as teachers, we learn a lot from our students too, you know, so just be open and be willing to learn. Like I learned a lot from you guys, from my audience too, and I love that, you know, I love the discussions, I love your comments. I love, when you tell me new things and when you teach me new things. It's awesome. So I think really, as a teacher, I also realized that, sometimes you can, if you don't know certain things, you can always go back, and I don't know, get in touch, get in tune with yourself, gain more insights, gain more information, think about things, read about things, right? And just learn it, right? And then you can teach once again. So really, teaching isn't about knowing everything. It is about having enough information and having the confidence to go out there and to start, teaching others and presenting that information out into the world, right? And so but yeah, anyways, so back to the portals, right, guys? Like I said, chosen ones are they're the portals, right? And so and most of us, we're able to take the downloads that are presented to us, and we're able to ground it, right? And we're able to present it in a way that's kind of understood, right? It's not like when you're dealing with someone who is crazy, right? And who was never ready for that information to begin with, right? And so once again, this kind of person, right? Like a schizophrenic person, for example, right? They would just they would talk to just about anyone about this information, right? That they're getting downloads of, right? And they don't really discriminate, right? So yes, they will sound very crazy because they are not able to digest this information. They're just spitting out the truth, basically, spiritual truths, but it's not grounded. Okay, so and once again, right, chosen ones are able to operate in two worlds, right? So sooner or later, you will discover that, after your spiritual awakening, right, you become a little bit more grounded. You kind of accept this entire new reality that has been like unveiled to you, right, or presented to you. And so now you're able to operate in two different worlds, right? And you're able to hold a job even, right? And you're able to kind of keep these two worlds kind of separate almost, right? So it's very interesting, and because spiritual world, right, is all about signs, right? It's all about synchronicities. It's all about, understanding that nothing comes into our life without a reason, right? And that every person is an opportunity to learn, right? You also in the spiritual realm, right? You understand that when people come into your physical reality, in many ways, it's either to warn you about something, right, or someone, or take you away from a situation, or it's about teaching you something too, right? Or it's about, I don't know, showing you your triggers. Maybe that someone triggers you, right? And so, and you never really noticed that whatever was triggered in yourself, right? So that person, even if he seemed like a bad person that was really there to attack you, like spiritually attack you, right? Still, they taught you a lot about yourself and your triggers, and so now you can work on that, right? And also, it's in the spiritual realm, right? You can see things, you can see the physical that come into your life, right? And you can see them for what they are, right? So you're not going to take it as personally, right? It's a spiritual battle, and people come into your life, to once again to teach you or to help you or to help you gain some kind of insights, right? Ultimately, it's all for your own good, for your highest good, right? And also, of course, there are people that will come into your life to attack you, right? To siphon your energy, right? To to get you farther away from source, right? They want to, in fact, shut everything down. They don't want you to have access to this other world, right? Because Satan knows how powerful you become when you're this portal, right, to another world. He knows that you can, you can bring forth a new world with the information that you now possess, right? And so he doesn't want you to have access to this world. So he's going to send his minions. He's going to send people that are demonically oppressed, possessed, mostly possessed, right? And those are going to be your narcissists, of course, right? Your psychopaths, sociopaths. And so they're going to try to come into your world to shut those gifts down, to shut that connection down, to shut that connection to source down. This way, to close your third eye, right? And yeah, they don't want you to have these abilities. They know how much of an impact on humanity you can make with the information that you possess or get downloads to, right? And so that's the thing, right? And so yeah, it's an interesting way of living, like I said, it's really exciting, and life definitely becomes much more fun, and you start looking at everything from a much higher perspective, right? And just like once again your reality shifts, okay? But you can also look at the signs that are everywhere, right? And for example, let's just say because you're operating in two different worlds now, right? There will be some signs in the spiritual realm, or actually not in the spiritual realm, but there will be signs that you can pick up on because your awareness is now wider, right? It has expanded. So there will be signs, for example, about certain people, right? Or the dream world becomes very relevant too, right? Because you might get a lot of, information in your dreams about certain individuals that, are about to come into your life, or, have already come into your life, right? And so those will be, I don't know, maybe warnings, right? Or, or maybe not just warnings, right? But sometimes it can be a good thing, right? Maybe you will get a sign that this person is the one, right? And they're here to be your forever spouse, right? So things like that, basically, right, guys? So it really is extremely it's extremely amazing, to operate in two different worlds, right? And once again, life becomes a little bit more chaotic, a little bit more interesting and exciting, and yeah. So I would love to hear from you guys about this. Okay, let me know. Let me know your thoughts. I love to hear from you guys, and thank you so much for watching. Okay, and also Happy New Year. Okay, although I do not celebrate death. Okay, I think a new year should start in March, okay? We should be celebrating life, right? Instead of death. And so, yeah, if I could, I would celebrate that. But once again, I don't really go out and I am not going to celebrate New Year's, right? The New Year, because it's not, it's like, chosen ones, as you guys know, you're in this world, but you're not from this world anymore, right? Kind of like that, right? Because you cannot relate to most of the things that are done here, right? Like drinking alcohol, right? And just getting drunk, getting wasted, getting laid, right? And just sleeping around and all of that nonsense, right? All of that is not good for your soul. It's not good for your spirit, right? And so you want to keep yourself clean and pure, and I don't know, I would rather sit at home and just watch fireworks and celebrate spring when it comes. On your own terms. I don't know. So let's celebrate life. All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and much love to you. Stay tuned for more videos, okay?